Hello guys, hi again, my name is Aris and I'm here to indulge few of the stuff that I've been uploading to internet and such, especially the people that has been giving me a chance to represent myself and some of the tube world and the loner things that I've been going through by myself and things that's unbelievable in a righteous way, but sometimes not changing in camera and basically everything around me has an influence. As someone said once, everything around me has an influence to something or something somehow, one way or another. And the more concretely you keep messing with stuff, you find out that yeah, nothing on you. 뭐 하는 거야 지금? So more you do things, you find out deeply and deeply that mine's more of generically hidden rather than postponed to something that's matching for everybody else. And majority of stuff is all concubinely influenced from homemade stuff. It has nothing to do with whether or not a personal injunction and respect to that guy and respect to both of the worlds and stuff like that, other worlds and such. And like people that went through problems with the racism stuff and like the journey to other places and such and stuff like that. I think one day you should be thankful and not say anything for that matter, and that reason only, and sometimes mom, sometimes you have to know that when you're doing such work and such stuff, like it's not granted from me and from me only, and that it has nothing to do with true and not telling the truth and stuff like that. But as things move on and things do move on, I hope you could enjoy some of the stuff, and I'm trying to stay away from that stuff as much as possible. Yes, I am, and like when things do turn and things do prove to be something a nuisance and a greater run, I think you should be thankful that I'm here as a person and stuff. And returning to other stuff with other people and postponing a lot of reasoning, I think as if like in a standalone and stuff like that, you should respect me in those regards and such, and shout out to all other people. It has nothing, it doesn't have to necessarily have to be with personal things or personal other reasons and stuff, but I've been having a great time, and I just wish other people would leave, and just accept me for who I am, and not terrorize some of the stuff that it's been going around. And basically this is my scenery and the things that I have, and most importantly, what I hold and what I don't hold is what makes a person more stronghold than ever. And things do in turn and bite, as they say, to my friend John, to my mom, and such, like running a business in Flushing, and me myself going in and out doing a cookie business in a sense too. And shout out to Phil's Peoples and such, my brothers and all this stuff, and excuse my manner, but in the long run, I'm thankful that they're here for me, and the things that I've been experiencing are all alone, like a balloon and a helium just tightening up from inner side and inner self and esteem things. I wish the best for everybody else, and the things that I'm presenting to you, I hope you could accept me in the long run, and I hope you could accept who I am as a person, to not being listed on the internet at all or anything listing, versus the terrorizing things that's been going on and the fire things that's been I've been unholding and stuff like that. But I hope you could enjoy as a person of like just a person in life on earth and space and water, life in all in general, and just accept me for who I am. And shout out to other people too, to all the things that we've been through, all the things that other people has been not going through, and anything they give me in the turning way, I will purchase in a way because it's godly, and I will give it back to them, And I say to you that I have no saying in a lot of things when it comes out to the things, And it's just that as a person in a role-playing way, it takes a man and a person to bite on a thing, you know. And the more you think about the things, and the more you tire it of things of my animals that's been on air, that's been on cam, and publication of whether or not they could be really humans and stuff like that, and returning some of the bites that I've been running around and what I actually been following internally and never gotten wrong. Until this day, I don't think I could ever go wrong and stuff like that. And I'm sorry for if I haven't had a corrective law reasoning, had a few lockups and whatever. I'm sorry about that, to be honest with you, in the long run. But I did a few grabs. I had few misdemeanor charges, punching a neighbor and such, and smoking weed and smoking a joint at a park or drinking a beer. You think fundamentally this expertise type of things will actually gradually perpetuate me as a person, a Korean person, an American, Korean American in the United States, living here, doing business with parents and doing runarounds, going through a hellish lifestyle with homes and neighbor styles, along with all these all these people coming in and out, left and right, from all these different types of world and such, how I experience all those things, to tell you the truth, I feel as if, when you do the math and not nitpicking on its poor things versus very, very adjacently, like the minuscule things that people do bite and things that do hurt you in the long run for sexual things, and such, I believe in dooms of being in Chinese mode, and that no matter what, I have to fight against all the things that I have not been equivalent to, and I think at the end of the road, I hope success for everybody in all the life that I spent, especially the people that I've worked for and the things that I've done for other people and such, and no matter what, as life goes on and things do change, I wish the best, but the remembrance of such reminiscent things and collisions of old people coming back in and out, but still to this day still a thug in a sense, and not really proving anything in a right against real authorities and such, but no matter of things, if you follow the rules and such, like the old days and stuff like that, like a lot of those people that I truly believe in stood for me for that reason, and for shout out to those people, and when things you go angry and you do want to bite, and when things are not hidden and things do find something and escalating, you feel as if that's been implanted on a normal basis versus something that's unhidden and things that other people have perpetually been going through, ridiculed in a sense and stuff like that. It goes back to a long way of tradition of who I am as a person, and when things do change and when things do gradually fall for time for changes and time for things and other things, I feel as if I did my justice as a person. I did some stuff and other way around, and as a real reasoning and stuff, there has been some type of momentous collision and a control that's been going around in my neighborhood. I'm from Bayside, basically, and Queens, New York. Majority of populous people are all from here, and when people do move on from back and forth from taking from subways to buses or driven through highways, using highway stuff, and using a collision of back in the days of like machine usages and taking a train to Manhattan back and forth and stuff like that. People gradually sit there and they work and they come home, they figure there's nothing involved, but there are a lot of still things around in life that you could enjoy instead of thinking that everything's claustrophobic, everything's something of adjacent, something of a nuisance. There's a lot to learn about life. I've been around the world in a sense too, through things to my parents, to my friends, my dear friends and such, and his friends and stuff like that. But nah, man, in real life, no means no, and whenever I find peace and happiness, I say unto you, he's been there more than a lot of people, to be honest with you. And that sometimes it gets me really upset in a way. Nothing home, you know what I mean? Like in real life, they've been with me forever, for no matter what, from the days of before I was born, after I die, and all these things. They're still there for me, basically. And as time goes on, you meet all these different people, and some people are not used to you, some people are used to you in a way, but you just don't want to get close to a lot of people for a reason and reason only. But you find out that in the long run, that some people are gradually one of a kind, and some people are not. And whenever things do a part, and you want to tell the truth when things are shining, with the moment that you feel as if inside someone is conquering you, and you feel like the conquering feeling of inside versus something of the outside, and things not really falling apart, people go crazy, this and this, up and down, triads, problems, and all these things. A lot of people go through this all the time, but life goes on and on, like, gets better and better. You wish for the best, no matter what, wherever you are, the settings that you're being captured on, whatever, versus why people have this type of things, why people have that, in the long run, as long as you're in the same picture and you don't go psychotic over a certain moment in time and stuff like that, individually, it's all about the same thing. It's all about the same driven moment. It's all about rewarding the same people versus a class of other irony as it takes, like, as long as you support it and you like it in a fundamental way, give and go, and you don't cheat or take away, but you buy them in return in a massive way, and doing things on hidden things, and that's hiding you, and things that for a fact feels like you're getting beaten down, but no matter what, God will reward you, and as deeper the prayer goes and deeper the things go, you pray for the best. And the world that I'm in right now, basically, on the world of cameras and stuff like that, where I am, it is, tranquility wise, it's pretty monumental. It's very big, like, things could go wrong. A saber-toothed tiger could come in and slash you. Anything could go wrong. You could end up in jail for smoking, breaking rules. You could have records, all these things. Basically, we're all tied on to what's going on in the world, basically, in a sense, and the things that we don't really necessarily have, people are rewarding us, but no one's really uprising and saying that, there's a problem with this, there's a problem with that. But in the long run, you know what I'm saying? Like, there's a different life for everybody, And the more you think about it, you second guess the nature of respecting the things that came off from nothing to things that's already brilliantly there for other people, and the things that's already there for other people and stuff like that. You take a notion of this and this, and a lot of people make misjudgment based on those things, instead of saying, a world is small versus the world is monumentally kind of big, in a sense, like, not necessarily can the world be so big all the time, too big all the time. It's always small, and some weird things do come in, and like, you do understand the gradual facts of being weirdness and things of certain things. But, like, there's cars, there's technologies, there's aerospaces that I've never seen before, to be honest with you. There are gas stations, there are parks, there are cities, there are garbage cans, there are lawnmowers, there are gases, there are lights, things that are basically unhidden, basically, versus second guessing the nature of who's drawing this, and this person better off drawing something else, and guessing if this person came out of the room versus the other person going to the other room. Do you know what he's really entirely thinking, versus like the inner half of how these people are functioning, like governmental issues and such, which we don't really have in a weird way. It's really funny, actually, the person that's announcing, they're a bunch of gremlins, and they stole around somewhere in like the neighborhoods and stuff like that. But fundamentally, in the long run, like, you figure out that as being nice to a person as versus like smoking a joint and finding an expertise life of ending and cycle of not being able to fundamentally tell the truth between the life and this, life of that. It proves on and off that people do like me, and in return, from courses of finding out this natural state of this, courses of that, and courses of other things. Like you find out it's same thing, and like Hillenbrand really kicked them out in a sense. Minds versus something else. So you say something else to something else. In real life, there are the real police officers in a real sense, and that, like, I'm 100% happier for that reason rather than versus something else. And I feel as if it's time for those people to move on in a sense, and that the reason why they're constantly calling it has to do with my cat. It has to do with the blonde person looking for all these things. It has to do with the other guy, and we're constantly taking care of. She's constantly taking care of all their business. I'm constantly taking care of on my half. He's constantly taking care of certain else because he finds himself like an equivalent size to that guy. Finds out it's about the same, reason. She finds out that longer run, all those things. There's one drain that's hers, and that she could always make something in return. Everyone has his own thing, but it's naturally true though. There is no one else. No one. It's a proven fact that there are no one other people, rather than what I did for the sake of being in a paper or playing for video games and doing things in that nature. Those are the two sides that ultimately is my biggest accomplishment so far in life here. In retrospect and such, like if you believe in tyranny of lies, and if you believe in tyrannies of injustice and criminalizations and such, you find out that as things move on and pervalize and stuff like that, like you find out yourself that deeper you go, it's not you, and it's like the other people that's always being in part with you, and it has to do with one of the missing box that has been that kind of made an impact in a sense, which I kind of awarded because it feels as if like that joint was just like in an empress way, like it cleaned certain senses and did not as a repetitive way, but in nurture wise, it's great, like most ridiculous, like taking care of everything else and not really worrying about like of something of impact way. It's always tiny crunches that's like bothering me, and I feel as if sometimes like they ask for random cleaning versus I'm not made for those cleaning like spin-off cycles and stuff like that. I'm really not built for stuff like that. Those are like for SP students, like. But I did my part in donation ways and such, I threw down in a sense too, as far as things like that. I did my half on my behalf in a sense too, just feeding the nurse and stuff like that, and in a long way, you know what I mean, like whenever things like that happen, like you know for a fact it's weird. It's actually it's like a perfect size, but like I'm constantly being boggled by people that are like asking me for changes and stuff. I'm not attracted to stuff like that, And whenever things do go in and things do get hot, it's not the same thing, It's like being on camera. But when things do fall, like we all lean on it to the fact that like you feel like it's dependent, completely, and it ruins you in a sense. And I don't want to be part of stuff like that anymore. And I would like to shout out to all the people that's shouting me out in a sense, and shout out to all the things keeping my composure and things of realness, of real fact. And I'm trying to fix a lot of my habits, especially my looks, my sizes, my body. I like to change my body. I like to change my face looks. I like to be like a little bit more mature. I like to make more money. I like to be happy. I like to, when things come apart at the moment and most impacted things, I like to have things there so that it could happen instead of me waiting for things. I want to go through all these changes. I want to change my person. I want to be truthful to a person, be honorable, and have more of a sounding intelligence for everybody. The rest, it's a dangerous world out there, but it speaks for itself. It's like a crash course of animations and such, and the more you go in, the more you boggle. I like you to enjoy some of the stuff I don't want you to actually watch me from standpoint on, to be honest with you. I don't want viewers. I don't want unnecessary of comments and such because of the problems that could cause in ruckus, in which I, in flesh part, will pay dearly, and that in more of a natural way, it's like a fatherly talk, a motherly thing, or a wife, or a brother or cousin type of issues, but the things that come apart, and things that from the TV to having the nature of what's out there right now, versus something that's not hot, it has nothing to do with anybody else. It really does have to do with something higher, rather than someone very small thinking he's high, which is equivalent. It's a mistake, because you necessarily didn't read the second half, the mid part, but in the other half, it's just a doublement of dualism. Like it's pretty crazy. I kind of combat it in a way. Don't have the room ceases and stuff like that. The numbers and such, and in a long run, like some people, like the things that I drew for a notepad versus the realism of real people in a photo life, and you say, well, this don't match, but ultimately it matches, and it's what it is. It speaks for itself, and I think all the people that do still, in part, still support me, and I never have, and I'm telling the truth, against squares and circles, and I don't have a triangle. That's what's bother me. I don't have a pyramid in a sense too, but the deeper you go, you find yourself the necessary truth and such and such. It's all there. But having a person not being able to explain fully my brain, how my brain and my body chemistry, all these things work. I went through both, man and girl. But with man, not really sharing that type of moment, but like a moment of having what I ideally use for hands and such, in a way. Female, just the grasp of a nuisance, but both minus, which people are saying I have to stay away from, and if I was speaking to myself on my behalf and the things of minuses and stuff like that, I say no, and I thank God for it. And that's the end of my journal. And shout out to my family, and shout out to my internet side of the family. Shout out to the TV side of the family, and such and such. And shout out to backstages of movies and stuff like that. I'm kind of coherently on the internet, kind of all the way in the back. I can't be always in the front, and I hope you understand that. If you understand my role in life and stuff like that, you understand how clean it is, in a sense. It doesn't have to be, with that person. Mine's back to 4. I'm naturally 6, and that I have no role in real life, and it's just very dull, things I can't do, and things I don't have, things I'm forgetting to say, and things I want to say, all the truthful things and stuff like that. I hope you guys understand from my standpoint, and for people that experience all these things in life with people in the past and such, just enjoy who I am as a person. You don't have to necessarily go and force it and stuff like that, And finding owners and finding this and this, there's no such thing, to be honest with you. It's God-given gift given to you and such and such. And that's the end. Motivation-wise, I can't. I listen to Jeezy, whatever, right? That's the best I could do, I have nothing else in return. If you enjoy, you enjoy. You don't, you don't. But thanks again, man. And goodbye.